Trevor Jackson Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trevor Jackson Podcast. I have a special guest on the show. I was a guest on her show recently, and I hope y'all caught that episode because it was a good one. And I'm very appreciative to have Amanda, Art Girl on Fire, on my podcast. How you doing today, Amanda?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, our show was good.
Yeah, it was real good. It was a real good podcast, and I felt like I was uh interviewing you on your show.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So, like Amanda, for the viewers that's watching the podcast, if you're listening to the audio version, Amanda is a multi-talented individual, and that's my perspective. She's a Reiki healer, she's a podcaster, and she's a phenomenal artist. Like, which one of those? And I know you more than that.
Yeah.
That-
But those are things I do.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Which one of those things came first, though?
Art has always been there, and healing has kind of always been there. Since I started really making art seriously in high school, I had some really great art teachers that encouraged me, but I'd always drawn and colored and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And healing wise, growing up, I would, like, my mom had headaches and her back hurt a lot, and I would like massage her back and rub her head, and she would always just be like, "Oh, your hands get so warm. I know you got the healing touch." And
Yeah.
it was like I thought that was great. But then in my 20s, I got certified to be a massage therapist. I did that for a while. And then just recently, I dove back in pretty deeply and got my Reiki certification. And I'm actually training right now for my master level Reiki so I
Is
can start teaching other people how to be Reiki healers. So,
Oh man, I'm gonna have to take that class. Is that a third? Is it three different stages into Reiki healing?
yeah, level 1, 2, and then the third is called master level.
Okay.
And they call it that, not that I'm a master of Reiki healing, but there's a Japanese symbol that you attune to, and it's called the master symbol, master healer type of thing. So,
And
mhm.
to get the third level, is that just for teaching, or is it other things?
There's some other things, but if you want to teach, you have to have that.
Okay.
So you learn a few like deeper truths of the practice and stuff, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, you're not ethically supposed to teach Reiki to other people unless you've been attuned to the master level.
And I'm glad we're talking about Reiki first off, but I really wanted to talk about art though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I consider myself a creator or a designer, but I'm not nowhere near on your level though.
No, it's just different levels. I don't think anybody's art is better than anybody else's. Like everybody has their own flavor of
Mm-hmm.
what they make, and I love everything, like any kind. Like one of my best friends in Huntsville on Instagram, she goes under Paperful Joyful, and
Mm-hmm.
she makes these collages with anime characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't watch anime and I don't read manga, but she's really into it. And I love her collages. I don't know who those characters are, but I don't care. Like the work is really good.
Yeah, you enjoy the work.
Mhm,
Man,
mhm.
like when I look at your art pieces, I'll be like, wow, she's very creative in this. And most of the time you use multiple colors, like a lot of colors.
Mhm.
Um, where would you say it come from? Does it come from a place like your creativity? Or do you
Yeah.
disclose that?
Yeah, it does. And I think it always has come from the same place, but now I recognize where it comes from. And I think as people, we are all spiritual beings. We're not just bones and bodies, right? And
Mm,
so inspiration and ideas and creativity, like some people's, I guess, can be like a spigot. Like if the spigot is a trickle, they might draw a little bit and they never go too far with it, and not super inspired. But if that spigot's turned on full blast, then you get like all of these ideas. And so I really feel like a channel, like just universal consciousness, Holy Spirit, just like it just comes, you
it
know.
flows
Hmm.
and it comes out of you in the creativity.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And
Man.
I feel it now and I can recognize it. And so now when I'm about to work, I meditate first and I set my space and clear it and I'm much more intentional about it. And
Mhm.
it's a lot less frustrating than it used to be. Like I used to sit down like, oh, I don't even know what to do. Like this is terrible.
Also,
And
like,
now it just like it's so easy. It just like you're in it and you do it. Like it's
somebody
nice.
somebody told me like meditate before you do a lot of things. Like meditate before you take a test,
Hmm.
meditate before you go work out,
Yeah.
meditate because
I,
you can see you probably could see the totality of the artwork before you even start creating.
well, you know what? For me, it's the opposite. Like I really don't. And
Oh,
like I'll work and work, and then when it's done, it's like I know it's done, and I stop, and then I step back and look at it, and like, hey, oh, cool, that's
so
nice.
so basically, you clearing the mind.
Hmm. And
Wow.
that's the thing, though. In meditation, I don't think of nothing. You can't think of nothing unless you're dead, and so. But yeah, meditating before anything. That's why I like to do it in the morning when I first get up. And then throughout the day, like if my anxiety level starts to rise a little bit, I'll take 10 or 20 minutes and even just 5 minutes breathing to kind of come back to center. But I mean, it helps everything like meditation. If people are like, oh, I want to be a little more balanced or, try some spiritual stuff, whatever, that's the first thing I would tell anybody is you've got to meditate because the world is so distracting. There's so much going on. Like information is flying at us every second, all the time. Sound and visual stimulation. It's just more than our bodies were really designed to handle.
Hmm.
And so a lot of people are really anxious and depressed and upset and,
Some
stressed over
people don't.
things.
Some people don't even know why they're so anxious, and it seems like the world is getting more louder and
Hmm.
just screaming at us. We having
Yeah.
disasters and war, and just it's.
Yeah. And I mean, I want to know what's going on in the world. Like, I don't want to stick my head in the sand and I want to, do good where I can, but not everyone was meant to carry all of the burden at one time. Like, our brains cannot compute that,
Yeah.
and so if you doom spiral, you kind of like, everything that's going on, but you can't do anything about it because you're kind of paralyzed.
Hmm.
And meditation can help you kind of order your thoughts and clear the mind of things that don't need to be there,
Hmm.
so that when you do sit down to do your task or your work or whatever, it's much less of a struggle.
Yeah. And
So,
make you have to make time to have a peaceful time. Like
mhm.
if I say the word peace to you, what does that mean to Amanda? Peace.
Hmm. There's a lot of layers to that question.
That's like.
Really, it's peace. Like, if I can have peace within myself, which I have full control to do that,
Hmm.
then I'm at peace. Like, if you can separate yourself from your ego and also from outside things,
Hmm.
then those outside things become very small, and then the peace that you have inside becomes very big. And
Hmm.
so it kind of takes you away from the little piddly things that over time those can get really irritating and make your stress level really high.
Yeah, that's the reason I asked you that question too, because the people that's familiar with my podcast and my channel and stuff, they know that I say at the end of every show, peace, love, and plenty of abundance, because
Hmm.
those are the three things that I live by. Like peace first, I need
Hmm.
to be able to love everything, and I need abundance just to be able to survive on the planet. So I just want
Right.
to know your perspective of what peace is to Amanda, because it seemed like we was talking and getting into that realm
Hmm.
with meditation.
Yeah, meditation helps you recognize that you have peace already. Like, I
Mm,
think a lot of people struggle when they like desire things and they think that it's outside of them. Okay, but when you meditate, you realize at a certain point that like everything you need, you already have it. And
mm,
like the universe is abundant, it's not scarce. There's plenty of resources for everybody in the
yeah.
world. It's being mismanaged, and people are in power are kind of keeping resources from certain people with a purpose. And
Hmm.
not, I'm not a crazy conspiracy theorist, but I mean, big government and all these conflicts and everything, like regular people and innocent people, it doesn't help them in any way. So once you realize that what you need isn't outside of you, or you don't need to get it from another person, I mean, a lot of stress goes away, you
Yeah,
know?
it's very noticeable that that's what's going on, but that ain't, you know what I mean? It's not going to bother the people that's aware of it.
Yeah.
But the reason, dang, I think I lost my track of mind, but the reason I asked you about that in meditation, because can meditation show you that you have anxiety also?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
'Cause you
Yeah,
said-
like, when I started my yoga practice before really diving into, like, heavy meditation practice, and, at first, I struggled to, sit in a posture and actually breathe through it, like, my breath would be like
yeah,
I'm sitting there trying to relax, like, "Why can't I breathe?" And
yeah,
so, like, once physically I learned how to control my breath and breathe a little better, then my mind started to, things became more clear, and then I was able to learn how to meditate. Like, it's a practice. Like, you're not gonna sit down the first time you wanna meditate and be like, "Oh, this is great. I'm so good at this."
yeah,
You're not gonna You'll sit there and like, "Oh my gosh, this is so boring. What am I supposed to do? Am I thinking of the right thing? Am I not?" You know? And there's a lot of different information out there about what meditation looks like and all that. But it does take practice. Like, I've been heavily meditating for about 5 or 6 years now,
mm,
almost every day. And, like, as you go in that process, you start to notice, little by little, like, things break loose and things heal, and, you're led to do, different things in your practice and your studies, and, things you thought you might study and want to learn. Some of those kind of fall away, and then you find something new that's really up your alley. Like, I thought I was going to study essential oils and herbal medicine, and I might still,
mhm,
but I found Reiki first, and I found that, like, the energy healing was really powerful for me, and I learned a lot of things through that. And then I dove into, like, ancestral healing, and when you first start, you're like, okay, this is cool, um, but you have to detach from your desired outcome. Like, okay, I want this to solve this problem. Like, thinking like that doesn't work. But if
yeah,
you just do it and you have faith and you practice every day, um, working on healing ancestral trauma in my family has actually brought really big healing to my mom and my relationship. Like, and now I can look back on it and I can see all these pieces like falling into place. And we're so good now. Like, we talk basically every day. And she
it's,
was on my show, and it was really great. And,
that was a
you know,
great show.
mhm.
That was a
So a lot of healing has taken place in that. So,
yeah,
mhm,
like ancestral trauma. That
mhm.
that caught my attention because things carry over, don't they? Like,
Yeah. Like, in Christian circles, they call it like generational curses. It's
hmm
the same thing because, and they've actually proven this, that trauma, it's stored in our DNA. So things that happen to our parents, grandparents, great grandparents, ancestors, all the way back, like, it's still encoded in our DNA. And so, like, when you start to heal on a personal level, like, once you actually start doing it, it goes backwards and it goes forward. So things that I had to struggle with and my son won't struggle with because I'm doing the work right now.
yeah,
And time isn't linear, so, like, as you heal, it busts out into, like, every dimension, every timeline, like, it's all healed. Like,
yeah, that's
so
great because like when I think of that, I think I need to educate myself on that. That's the first time I ever heard that before. That things
mhm,
from the past and things from your family past can carry over. My thoughts automatically go to food
mhm,
because I'm trying to heal
mhm,
my family and the people that's further out from me when I have a child or whatever.
mhm,
Food because diseases and stuff like high blood pressure, diabetes, because we inherit diets
mhm,
from our family, and I didn't know that we can inherit traumas
mhm.
and whew, that's deep though.
It is, but, I
Mhm,
mean, that's why, like, you can look at certain like every city has certain geographical areas where you go in there and you can feel the energy is different. Like there's a heaviness in some places that are bogged down with like poverty, and then other places, the energy is just different. And I think ancestral trauma has a lot to do with that.
When I moved from Knoxville, every time I come back home, I feel a heavy, dark energy.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it immediately. Right when I pass Strawberry Plains and I'm entering the city, I can feel it. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what it is, but it's something that I think the city may need to heal from.
Mm-hmm.
Real. And
Yeah.
I had a question. Like, I was doing Reiki studying and,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff before me and you did the do this podcast. And I was wondering, can a Reiki healer do Reiki on themselves?
Yes. Yeah. When you learn level 1 Reiki, it's for self healing. And you can like practice on your friends and family, and you can work on them too. But ethically, level 1 is for healing the self. Level 2 is when you can ethically work on other people and charge money for it. But
Mm.
yeah, Reiki 1, that was a big shift for me in my spiritual life. Like it was a huge breakthrough. And after I took that course and was attuned as a Reiki healer, my meditation practice, like leaps and bounds. Like it just like exploded, and I was able to focus better. I could sit in meditation longer. I could see more. Um, like once your energy is balanced and you know how to keep it healthy and balanced, like so many things just fall into place like they're supposed to.
Balance, that's a key word because
Mm-hmm.
it, am I saying this correctly? I don't want to say it wrong. Reiki is like healing your energy,
Mm-hmm.
personal energy.
Yep.
So by calling a human being energy, that's some people might not understand that because
Mm-hmm.
we talk energy a lot and in this world now, like it's kind of a fairly new term. Like when I was younger, I didn't hear people calling each other energy and you're bothering my energy and
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people collectively are starting to recognize things as they are.
mhm,
They're kind of coming into themselves. And I think too, through the pandemic and when everything was like shut down, um, people were isolated. And sometimes, like the way our society works, you're not ever supposed to be alone. You're not supposed to be by yourself. Like solitude is looked down upon. Like, oh, you're a loser if you don't go out all the time or if you don't have a partner. But I think there's a reason that that's encouraged, and that's because it keeps us from getting quiet and getting to know ourselves and,
mm,
what we're capable of and how much good we can do for ourselves and for other people. If you get quiet, that's when you hear God speak.
yeah,
And not like Moses on the mountaintop with the tablets, like lightning and. But Jesus told his disciples about like that small voice inside your inner knowing.
mhm,
And um, the reason that I talk about people as energy is because we all are, and we're all connected energetically too, because the breath of God is in all of us. Like if you're living and breathing, then God is inside you,
yeah.
you know? And
What's
so,
what's crazy is that I think that in a person's life, everybody will come to silence at one point in time in your life. You will have to God to direct you to the silence, even if
yep.
it's to keep you out of this situation or
Yeah.
to remove financial gain from you for a moment to put
Hmm.
you, if you have to go to jail or anything, you at one point in time, people will have to come to silence. And if they come to silence for a good reason or being silenced with a positive mind, they will start to hear,
Hmm.
start to feel, and then they'll start to heal or understand how what they need to do to heal.
Hmm.
And that's through silence. And a lot of folks don't want to be in silence. They want to go to the club or go to the game or go to
Yeah. Well, when you have parts of you that do need to heal, being silent can be really scary because you have to face yourself and you have to face your issues. And a lot of people are just, they don't even want to think about it, because like healing is great and it's amazing, but it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah.
And it can be really painful emotionally. But then you get the breakthrough too. It's like, you have to plant the seed and it has to be in the dark underground for a long time before it makes its way to the sun and becomes what it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And spiritually, that a lot of it, you
Yeah.
know, but one benefit of going through hard things is, one, sometimes that pushes you into a deeper place spiritually and you learn from it. And then two, you can help other people who've been through that same thing because
Mhm.
that's why, in drug recovery programs, sponsors are people who were addicts before because they know what it's like to struggle with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The best teachers are the people who's experienced what they're teaching.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. If someone came to me and was like trying to tell me what to do, I was like, well, have you been there? And they're like, no, I read a book. I know what you need. I'll be like, no, you don't.
yeah, 'cause you haven't experienced it to
Yeah.
teach
Yeah.
you. Now,
Hmm.
um, I have something, a surprise that I didn't tell you about. Some
Okay.
some videos that I created, and I wanted you to talk to me about these pieces and where
Okay.
your mind was at, and how can people get your pieces, and where can they get them from? I'm gonna
Okay.
play a visual of Amanda's art.
Okay.
Check it out, y'all. If y'all listening to the audio version, y'all gotta come over to YouTube so y'all can see the artwork that I put on put on the video. Um, those these pieces that I'm gonna play are the pieces that I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah. So they're your favorite.
Yeah, these are my favorite. Tell me about that piece because it's complex to me.
Yeah. It's a big canvas. It's 2 by 3 feet. And it's paint, it's paper, like magazine clippings, it's packing paper, and of course glue.
Hmm.
Um, and it was inspired by I was putting some pieces together for collage, and I actually drew the figure, and then the wings on her were magazine pieces. And I didn't really do much with that, but I photographed it. And so then I kept looking at it, like, what should I do with this? This is a really nice, it's a nice image, And then, I woke up one day, I was like, I'm going to paint her. I'm going to paint her. And, though I got started, and then like when I got finished, it was like, wow, she's a really powerful lady.
Yeah,
and, um, and that seems to be a lot of people's favorite piece right now in the show that I have up. And yeah, I titled it Divine Feminine. And I usually don't title my work at all. Like all of the collages are just numbered. But that one, like, basically the work told me what it was. Like, this is what you should name it. Like, okay. And it's been good. People like that one.
I like that one a whole lot, and
Me too.
whew, that was a good. That's a good piece right there. Now, how long does it normally take to make a piece like that for you, or you don't want to give that information?
No, it's fine. That one I actually worked on it for about 5 months. And that's the longest I've worked on one piece of art. I usually, like I said, I channel, and like, I mean, it could be an hour or two and I'm done. If it's a continuous line drawing or whatever, like 30 seconds, a minute. Um, and then if I put something to canvas, that could be a few days work or a week or something. But that one, like, I would do it step by step, and then I'd stop and I'd wait and I'd look at it. And then I would get the urge, like, okay, add this, add this. Because one thing I hate, like hate, is overworking a piece just
Mm,
to, like, so it has a lot going on. Like, if it's done, it's done. Just stop, like, stop working on it, mess it up. So I try not to mess with things too much. So a lot of times I'll work on it, let it sit, kind of look at it, mull it over, meditate some more. And if it needs something else, like, just add little bits at a time.
because like if a piece becomes too stressful, then you won't like it probably.
Like, it's not going to say what it needs to say if it's got like all this stuff going on. Because, too, like I said before, like the whole world is like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my art to be like that, too. Like, just like, like, oh, it's chaotic. And there's a time and a place for that. And there are some artists that make work like that. It's utter chaos. And I love their work. But for me and what I'm trying to do, and like I work my healing through my artwork, too. So I don't like chaos. So my art's not going to be chaotic either.
Okay. So I got two more pieces.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up. I want you to talk to me about these pieces.
Mhm.
That's number 2. When you make a piece, like, do you see different things in them?
Sometimes after I'm done. And that one, it's not done. Like the shapes and everything, it is, but there's detail work that's in progress. But I'm taking my time on that one too.
Okay.
So I've been working on that one a little over a month. Um, but it started as a pen and ink drawing on paper. And I liked it so much. I was like, that would look good really big. And it's another really big piece.
Mm-hmm.
So I drew it on a canvas and just started painting. So.
I like that one a lot. Like when I look at art, sometimes I see a whole totally different, because those look like skeleton heads. But I see something in the chin area. It looked like a whole nother face in there. But when I look at art, I see stuff different every time. I wonder if that's just me or.
No, it's like that. And that's one reason too that I don't title most of my stuff, is because I don't want to tell people what they need to see in my work. Okay, so if I'm at my gallery show and you come in and you see a piece, I want to hear what you see in it, because that's the whole point. Like where you're at, like where your heart and your mind is at, where your healing is at right now, that's going to affect what you see.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you like this means A, B, or C, because it's going to mean something different to you. And I love to hear what it means from other people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to know. Nothing offends me.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's kind of funny though if people are like, "Oh, I could do that." I'm like, "Okay, you could, yeah." I mean, I don't take it as an insult, but like, why do people say that?
Do you think, like, okay, me and you, we could be riding in the same car,
Mhm,
and you could see the world totally different from me, but we're looking at the same thing.
mhm. Yeah, because your perception is your reality. That is real to you. What your brain tells you is real is real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, again, like we're looking at the same thing. We're going to feel it differently. We're going to think of it differently. It's going to remind us of different things in our past experiences. You know,
Mm-hmm. I can relate because, like, I don't want to put that off on people or say some people or none of that. I know that because if I'm in a car with somebody and they tell me their perspective, I don't like such and such, and I may think it's beautiful, but I may not relay it to them
yeah.
because I know that we see different. We see the world
Mhm.
different.
Yeah. And it's not right or wrong, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a few like big ideas that I believe there is a right and there's a wrong. But most things, when it comes down to preference or like what people like or dislike or what gets on people's nerves, like that's just very personal and it's not worth arguing about with
Yeah,
someone. You know, like,
that's
oh, pizza's better than spaghetti. Like, okay, yeah, sure.
true.
Sure, it is great.
They both use uh, sauces, red tomato sauces.
Right.
Have you, like, I was watching a documentary. It was called From Human to Cyborgs, and I've been
Ooh.
researching this thing about transhumans, like
Mm-hmm.
transforming into a robot, like human flesh transforming into a robot, and that's kind of scary to.
Oh yeah, I read an article. It might have been yesterday, talking about how people, like super wealthy people, are trying to find ways to like download their consciousness before they die so it can be uploaded into like a cyborg type of thing.
And, people are I'm not scared to pass away. I must announce that. I
Mm-mm.
know that might not be a popular opinion. I'm not scared to pass away, but people want to live forever. And
Hmm.
why is that? Like, is that a fear?
It's fear. That's a basic fear-based mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Like not the fear of not knowing or the fear of not being important or having a legacy or whatever.
Yeah.
But to me, like that's just part of the cycle because we are energy, like we talked about. It's never created or destroyed. Like we've always been, and like even in the Bible, it tells us we were with God before we were here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to go back. Our energy, like we don't die. This body dies.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool because like we live on Earth, and if our bodies die and we're left to die, like we're supposed to, if you don't get embalmed and all that stuff, like I just want to be like wrapped in a cloth and just put me in the ground, just well, let the dirt eat me, and animals can eat my bones. I don't care. Um, if we do that, then that's nourishing the soil, and like the soil nourishes us when we're alive, giving us food. And, like to me, it's a cycle. It's really beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
not scared, but people are scared of suffering. And so I think a lot of people equate death with suffering. They're, oh, I'm going to die. It's going to hurt, or I'll be sick and it'll hurt. And people are, just scared. They're
So,
scared.
so folks trying to create like transhumanism or whatever
Hmm.
because they're fearful of the unknown. Mm,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's good. Piece number 3.
Okay.
That's a real powerful piece to me.
Thank you.
And if anybody listening to this podcast, Amanda Massey artwork on Instagram.
Hmm.
And how else can they get in touch with you to purchase? Or is that your preferred?
That's the main way for purchase. I do have a website. It's just amandamasseyartwork.com, but
Mm,
there's not a shop attached to it, but you can see some of my past work and stuff on there. Right now, if you want to see things in person, I'm at Low Mill Arts and Entertainment in Huntsville, Alabama,
mm-hmm.
in the first floor west gallery, and that'll be up until April 23rd.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's that first painting that you showed, and then all of my collage pieces are in that show.
Okay. I didn't even get none of the collage pieces. Neither
That
to,
last one you showed was a collage.
wow.
Yeah.
It looks like a painting to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one isn't hanging right now, but I do have it completed. And actually, the figure that's in that one, she was the inspiration for that first painting that you showed me.
Mm-hmm. Now, I, by me asking you this question, I feel like I'm limiting you by even asking, but how would you describe your artwork?
Hmm.
2 words. If you
2 words?
if
Okay.
you use 2 words.
Okay. Um, really, the art itself, I don't know how to describe it. The way I make it and like the work itself, I would say is intuitive and powerful. Like it's powerful to me.
Mm-hmm. Intuitive and powerful. I like that. I like that. That last piece was very powerful to me. I seen the
Hmm.
lady, the snake. It was going. It was a lot going on, but it felt good. It felt like a lady in control.
Yeah, yeah,
That's,
that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like I'm not gonna boss you and tell you to think the same thing, but when I was making it, that's how I felt.
mm-hmm,
It's like she's really powerful, and like the snake denotes like feminine divine energy,
mm-hmm.
and yeah, just her stature, you know.
Yeah,
I really liked that one.
she was sturdy. She was uh, powerful. That's
Hmm.
what I seen. So lately, you done had some guests on your pod. We got to talk about the podcast,
Oh
man.
yeah, I've had some really nice guests on there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you had some really nice guests. Like I came on the podcast, and then you had a I forgot what the guy, a yoga teacher.
Yeah, his name's Titus. He works in Huntsville, Alabama as a yoga teacher. It was a really good episode. He does good work. He's doing a lot of work for the community in Huntsville. So,
I like. Do you do yoga often?
Every day, most days. And I'm certified to teach, but I haven't started teaching yet, like on a grand scale. But I'm going to do that too.
Uh, I don't blame you. I, so, is there a difference in the benefits from? Because I like hot yoga.
hmm
From hot yoga than regular yoga. Is there a could you tell people what will be the benefits of hot yoga in comparison to room temperature yoga?
Really, with hot yoga, I mean, when the body is heated up, it's going to help in a lot of detoxification. And then if you're, fitness minded, you're going to burn your calories and, so there's some good like physical benefits to that one. And then mentally, dealing with the heat and withstanding it while you're breathing through the poses, it helps with your patience and focus and determination and like it's all beneficial. I don't really think that one facet of yoga is better than any others, but for what people personally like and enjoy, to me the best yoga is the one you're going to stick with. Like if you enjoy it, you'll stick with it.
Yeah.
Like there's some really hardcore like Ashtanga yoga, like they practice 6 days a week for like 3-4 hours a day, and it's a um a set group of asana postures, and it's the same every single time. So it's
Mm,
a very disciplined and in line kind of practice. And then the hot yoga is a little more physical, but
mm,
I mean, I feel like you could center in that environment too, like with the heat and everything. And then hatha yoga and Vin yoga, or not Vin, yin yoga, is more of the calm, slow movements, a lot of breath work, a lot of meditation, um, calm. Like I'm very anxious, and so I tend to gravitate toward very gentle, slow,
mm.
and I've done some Ashtanga yoga and it's really fun. Like I enjoyed it, but there's certain parts of the practice I just wouldn't get into, and I don't want to do something halfway. So I'll use some of the postures sometimes in my sequences. Um, yeah.
Have we Americanized yoga?
Oh heck yeah,
What
it's terrible. It's
what
terrible.
what was yoga originally created for?
A spiritual practice. Like it was not a fitness anything. Like the physical benefits are great and they come along with it. But, if you're doing yoga just to get skinny and do back bends and stand on your head and stuff, like you can probably do that. But like if you're still going to be a jerk to people, like what good is it really doing you,
I have to get into yoga more. I have done yoga, hot yoga, multiple times, but
Mhm.
yoga made me realize that I have a left hip issue. When I tried to do some of those poses, I felt pain in my hip that I didn't even know I had, and now that I'm aware of it, it made me feel like I need to do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, it can definitely help you see where you have imbalances and things, but sticking with the practice and two, learning not to push past a level of comfort.
Mhm,
It is like yoga definitely. I mean, there are some people who practice it this way, but I don't believe in the no pain, no gain, like push through like that. You're missing the point
mhm,
because for me, especially, as a practice, yoga has helped me to recognize and like acknowledge my body for what it does, like what it's capable of. And if there's a pose I can't quite get into, it's not a limitation and it's nothing bad. Like, oh, I can't do a back bend or whatever, um, as good as whoever else in yoga does it. Like, it's just where my body's at right now. And I'm thankful for it. So, like, if you're working on it and you feel that in your hip, like, don't push past it, just recognize it and breathe. Like, if you can always find your breath, and eventually that will kind of work itself out.
ooh,
you
'cause
know
that's the breathing aspect of it is bringing balance to that pain, and it's kinda opening it up. It's
Well, it keeps you from panicking too. Like we're really not good at being uncomfortable.
yeah, yeah, that's
And so like some people are better than others with it, but sitting was like, okay, that's not comfortable, but like as long as it's not sharp and you're not having heat coming off of that, like if it's not injured, like maybe it's more stiff than your other hip, But, as long as you're not injured and you're not exacerbating an injury, like if you go into a pose and that hip is just tighter, you can't quite get to it, like sit in that discomfort for a second and let that little bit of panic that starts to bubble up, like let it go and breathe through it, and like you'll start to see some progress with it. But the first thing we do when we get hurt, like, oh God,
Oh,
like,
oh,
it hurts.
what's crazy is I kind of know where my pain comes from. I'm about to expose myself on
Mhm.
in this part, but it is what it is. Do you remember when, like, in high school and stuff, the cool guys or the guys who thought they were cool, they
Mhm.
used to drive their cars and they had their seat laid
Oh,
back.
all the way back. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and you couldn't see the head was in the back seat.
Yeah.
I think I'm dealing with in
Did
my.
you do that?
I did that for years too.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think,
So you were sitting like your pelvic bone was like this, and
yeah,
so the side that you were leaning on, probably got some pressure in there, and you know.
I
But
think
like Reiki could help that too. The energetic, like get some energy moving in there, and it might help a little bit.
I'm coming to have my session as soon as I travel. May I will be in. You're not in Tennessee right now, though, are you?
Yeah, we're in Knoxville still.
Okay, May
Hmm.
I'm gonna be in Knoxville, and I need my Reiki session. How many can you take one each day, or is it beneficial to take more than one?
It's you can do as much as you want. It's not going to hurt anything.
Okay,
You know.
because I need that balance back, man, and I need that blockage away. Can
Hmm.
like I feel like right now I got a lot going on. Like I'm moving and I'm doing
Hmm.
podcasts and I'm working and stuff. I kind of feel off balance, like off balance a little bit, but I know what I got to do to make it better though.
Yeah, and too, if you have a meditation practice, you know, um, like I said, it's not about emptying your mind of thoughts, but say you want to focus on balance, and like more specifically, if your hip is really bothering you and you're going to get some energetic work done, start meditating now and just focus, good healing light energy around that area. Like just visualize it in your mind,
Hmm.
because your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and thoughts. That's what, like, have you ever thought, okay, say you've got an event coming up or you're going to a concert or a trip and you're so excited about it and you're just thinking about being there and like eating the good food and seeing a show that you love, like your heart will start beating faster, you'll get excited because your brain is telling your body the story of that experience already.
Hmm.
So if you tell your body, like, this hip is great, it is surrounded with healing energy, anything that doesn't need to be there is not there, I'm clearing it, it's healed, it feels great, I can run, I can walk the treadmill, it doesn't hurt.
Hmm.
Your body can start to line up with that because it's like, oh, that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, I'm going to follow instructions. I'm going to do that.
But if my mind keeps telling me, "Ooh, I feel it," ooh,
Yeah, every morning if you get up, oh gosh, that hurts so bad.
then I start feeling it before my mind even tell me to,
Hmm.
because I.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that like be completely detached from reality and like, well, I'm going to run a marathon this weekend because I believe this hip is healed. Like, don't be stupid about it.
Yeah,
But like, if you can gently like allow your body the space, it might start to feel a little bit better.
it's crazy. You said don't completely detach from reality, but I wish I could detach.
Yeah, don't we all? We do.
I wish I just.
But if you meditate for 20, 30 minutes, for those 30 minutes, you can be anywhere you want to be.
Mm,
Like, and something I learned in Reiki, especially when I got my level 2 and you learn to do healings across distances. Um, what I do is I send my consciousness out into the quantum field and I link up with yours if I'm working on you. And I have things that I do to like protect and make sure you're you and that we're doing the work, whatever. Um, but since I have that now as a practice, now when I meditate, I can go there and I can kind of explore like other dimensional realms and, um, just like I've never been to the West Coast.
mhm,
Okay. And in meditation a few years ago, I started seeing this certain like shoreline, this beach, but it wasn't like the southern beaches that I've been to. It wasn't sand. It was like stones, and they were smooth and dark. A lot of them were like black stones, and there were cliffs. And one day I was on Instagram, I think it was, and I saw the place. I was like, I have been there, like
Yeah.
consciously been there. I was like, where is that? And it was like, it's the Pacific Northwest. It was someone had posted from a hike they took. It was like, that's the beach I've been to. You know?
That's crazy. Like when you tell me you can, like, you had that experience. I wonder, since you became a Reiki teacher, are your dreams more vivid?
Yes, and I wake up really tired a lot of the times, and I I asked my Reiki teacher about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, when we're sleeping, we're doing all kinds of healing work. Just all our we're everywhere. We are healing, like
Hmm.
working on people. We're in different places." So that's why I like to meditate and work in the morning, to kind of get back, some balance and physical balance and ground. Like you'll hear that term like grounding. Oh, you need to ground, whatever. Like when you're scattered or when you're really exhausted or anxious, especially if you can do some grounding practices, what that means is to bring your mind back to your earthly body.
Hmm.
And so that's what I mean when I say like don't get like so out of your head about it that you're just like this space cadet. It's like la, 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 la.
That's crazy because
But
when
like if you come back in your body, because I mean we live here right now. Like our spirits are like hanging out in these bodies. So we need to take care of them and we need to keep that connection. But you know, you can be a spiritual person and be grounded at the same time.
yeah, yeah, like you're healing when you're alive, and when you're asleep, you're healing also. That's a
Yeah.
contrast now because you're supposed to be healing while you're asleep.
Yeah. And I mean, it heals me too. Like, I don't wake up feeling sick or depleted, but just like mentally a little tired and sometimes just not totally refreshed. But there's things I can do to help me sleep a little better. And like I said, just coming back to my body in the morning and like grounding, doing yoga, get outside and put my feet on the ground. That helps with everything. It just kind of brings you back to center and you can get on with your day. But I mean, I'm glad I'm out doing healing work. I mean, if I'm healing people I don't even know about, but I mean, it's doing some good. So that's all I could ask for. I just want to do some good.
You know, be of service to other individuals. Like
Yeah.
I work a lot, and I probably work 20 hours a day. And we talking about rest and sleep and healing right now. I want to know, what is Amanda's thoughts on the importance of sleep and when should a person sleep?
Sleep is really important.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like our reboot. It charges our battery. Like if likened to a computer, when you turn it off and turn it back on again, it works a little better. And
Mhm.
there's all kinds of studies that show like sleep deprivation has a really negative effect on lots of things. And especially, like you said, if your family has history of like heart disease and stroke, things like that, um, not getting enough sleep can heighten your risk for that. But I'm all about too sleep when you can or sleep when your body wants to sleep. Like I don't sleep very well at night, again, because I'm doing other things, but also just my brain has a hard time kind of shutting down. But during the day, I can nap so well. Like I can lay down and I'm out in like 30 seconds. And I wake up from naps feeling refreshed. So I think like my body clock just enjoys sleeping a little bit at night and getting up and working a little bit. And then if I can in the afternoon, sleep a little bit then. And it kind of balances out. And I actually learned recently that ancient people, that's how we slept. We did like little broken cycles and we would be up like around 2 to 3 a.m. or so around in that area. And then we go back to sleep. And
Mm.
so like we'd get up and do stuff. So I think that's kind of cool. So maybe my body is just like, hey, let's be ancient.
No, but I think that's important though, because like we live in this fast society, this fast moving society, and right now this inflation going crazy, and they expect us to work night shift, day shift, mid
Mhm.
shift, all shift,
Not healthy. Yeah.
and we don't know the importance of sleep. Like if you work two jobs, when are you taking that nap? Like the baby, like they used to
Mhm.
down as kids at 1 p.m. feed us lunch and give us 45 minutes.
Yeah, like grown-ups should have nap time at work. Like there should be
Yeah.
just a little rest in the afternoon, and then the whole rest of the day would be better, you know.
You know, like I was thinking about something. I was about to ask the place that I'm employed at. Like, we have sick days, we have
Mhm.
vacation days. Why can't we have mental health days off? Like, give me
Mhm.
five mental health days. Because sometimes I might not want to come in here, and
Yep.
and it's because I'm mentally not here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a balanced life, and it's really hard to carve a balanced life out just in the way society works now. Um, and so, yeah, like, we need mental health days from jobs that are stressful and long, and, you just never get a break.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I follow these people on, Instagram. It's called the Nap Ministry, I wanna say, and, um is led by a Black woman, I think, or maybe a group of Black women. I need to do a little more research on it, but they encourage rest, like active rest and naps, and like resisting like hustle culture, especially in the Black community, because it's just pushed so hard. And like, it's important to be successful at what you're doing. And like you said, you have to make money to live. Like, we have to.
Yeah,
But if you can try to balance that and let yourself rest as well, like they talk about just how important that is, and that it's kind of an act of defiance and a protest against the way society says we have to be, and kind of shirks that label of like, if you nap, you're lazy or whatever. It's like there's a difference between giving your body the rest that it needs and just not doing anything ever, you
yeah.
know?
And I'm gonna research that, the nap ministry.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Because like, as I look back over my life, I think things have got heightened to where the pace of life is moving faster. And even previously, before me, talking to people that's older than me, when they said a loaf of bread was a nickel and
Mhm.
stuff was a gallon of gas was 50 cents, they wasn't dealing with, I don't know, they might have still been dealing with it. It just was in their own way at that time.
Mhm.
The anxiety now is it's a lot going on. We have this metaverse stuff. I just got to talking about transhumans, and it's just so much going.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Just so much
Yeah,
happening, you
yeah.
know.
Hey man, but I appreciate you coming on my podcast. You welcome on my podcast anytime.
You too. This was fun. I love coming on.
Hey, I love having you on, and I love being on your podcast also.
Yeah, you're welcome on mine anytime too.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. In closing, do you want to promote anything, or you want me just put in everything in the description?
Yeah, just my gallery show at Low Mill right now. It's hanging now, so you can go see it. And then on April 23rd, at the end of that show, I'll be having a closing reception from 5 to 7
Okay.
at Low Mill in Huntsville, Alabama.
I'm gonna put all of that in the description. Also, even though she said it to y'all now,
Thank you.
for coming on the show, and everybody know what I say at the end of every podcast. Peace, love, plenty abundance, and make sure you get up and go get you some money. And we out.
Bye.